Hi all, my name is Mohit Kumar and welcome to Python programming tutorial. Let's get started. Let's discuss the agenda of this session first. In this session, we are going to learn what is Python programming language, why to use Python programming language, features of Python, applications of Python, big companies that uses Python, and in the end of this session, we are going to have a practical. So before we understand what is a Python programming language, let's understand what is a programming language. To understand this concept, we will take an example. Let's say we have a video and we want to perform two actions upon it. First is a cropping the video. Second is rotating the video. So, and you have a system. The problem is how you will tell the system to crop and rotate a video. So, answer is a programming language. By a programming language, you will write a program that will contain instructions to crop and rotate a video. So hold on, what is this program? So let's understand a program first. A program is a set of instructions to use to tell a system to perform certain actions. In our case, we want to tell the system that we want to perform crop and rotate action on the video. So we have input file and we want to crop and uh, rotate a video, then we want to export the video. So we will write a program that will contain four instructions: load input, crop the input video, rotate input video by 90 degree, and export the output. That's it. Now we understand what is programming language and what is a program. So let's understand what is Python programming language. So Python is also a programming language by which we can write a program and a computer can understand that program. Python is an interpreted high level uh, general purpose programming language, and we will understand interpreted and high level programming language a bit later in our session. Python was created by Guido van Rossum in 1989. Why to use Python programming language? It is easy to understand, it's free to use because it is open source, it has huge community. A lot of people are working on Python and they are adding new features day by day into it, and they are making developers life easy. It is versatile, it is being used in many applications, different kind of domains like healthcare, banking, insurance, and many modes. Features of Python: it's high level language because it's close to human language, far from the machine level language. Ultimately, a system understands code in zero and ones, and nowadays we are writing a code like close to human language that we will talk about in our practical session. But nowadays we don't have to worry to write a assembly level language or like code in C. Now we have Python. Due to Python easiness, we can write a code in close to human like language. Python is extensible because it has support of C, C++, and Java language also. Now code can be written into C, C++, Java and can compile with the Python. So that's why Python is extensible also. Python code is readable because it's close to human language like English. Python code is portable because once you write a code, you can run this code on any operating system, whether it is Linux, Windows, Mac, Solaris, it doesn't matter. So it's provided support of all almost all operating systems. It is interpreted language. A language is called interpreted when the code is executed by line. When you write the instructions and you get the output of that instruction at that time, then the code is called interpreted. And what usually happens in other languages like C and Java, you have to write the complete code of, let's say, a 550 or 500 lines code, then you will run the program. So in Python, it is very easy to run because we can just write a statement and we can get the output of that statement that time. So Python is interpreted language. Applications of Python. So there are various applications of Python nowadays. Why Python is being used in web applications, desktop GUI applications, console-based applications, software development, scientific and numeric applications, business applications, audio or video based applications, 3D CAD applications, enterprise applications, image processing applications. Web applications is like nowadays you use lot of websites and very fintech apps. For example, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is built on Django, which is a framework built on Python. Desktop GUI applications. Python has a module TK-int that is used to build desktop application, and there are other module as well, and many more applications nowadays. Fintech companies are also using Python extensively. They are writing their services in Python, like a wallet service, payment service, and those things. Big companies that uses Python: Facebook is using Python, Instagram, as I told you that Django, Instagram uses the Django, and Uber, Dropbox, Reddit, Netflix, Spotify, Amazon, Pinterest, and Google. Those also use Python, and YouTube is also using the Python as well. So now it's time to for now it's time for the practical session. Now we are in Jupyter IDE. So what is an IDE? IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. So it is a software used to write a program. So in that IDE, we can write statements and see the output at that time. So Python is an interpreted language, so we can write a statement and we can see the output of that statement below that shell. So in Jupyter, this is the one cell, and let's write a print statement over here. Let's say we want to print hello world message. So we will simply write hello world in under double quotes. To execute this cell, we will press shift plus enter, and we can see the output of that command below this cell. Hello world is printed over here. So this is the output of this print statement. Print is a function in Python. We will come to functions later in this session, but we can identify any function by opening and closing parentheses. So print is also a function, and we can see opening and closing parentheses in front of the print statement. So let's talk about variables in Python. So let's say we want to add two numbers, right? And how we can do it in Python? First way is just we can write 2 plus 3, and we can see the output of that statement below this cell. It is 5. Another way is we can store first input 2 and second input as well. As we store the value in variables in math, same fashion we can do it in Python as well. So A is the first variable and B is the second variable. Now A holds value 2 and B holds value 3. And if we want to perform addition between A and B, then we will just write A plus B. We can see the output. And we, if we want to, uh, you know, differentiate B from A, then we will write simple A minus B, and we can see the output. It is minus 1. In same fashion, we can do the multiplication and divide as well. So you can see the output below that cells. So the importance of variable in this statement, you can see that we can just store the values in the variables, and we can use that variable in multiple statements. But with normal values we can't do this efficiently. So to hold the values, we use variables. Now in Python we have different type of variables. We It's depend upon the what value we are storing in that variable. Let's say we want to store number, so this will be number type variable. Let's take an example of number type variable. A is equal to 2, right? We have used this variable before also. Now if we want to check the type of this variable, what we can do, we can use type function. As we all know that a function can be identified by opening and closing parenthesis, and in this parenthesis we will put the variable A that we want to check the type, and you can see the type is int. So int is basically integer type, and integer is belongs to number, right? Let's say we have a floating variable 24.8, and we want to check the type of that variable as well. So what we can do, we can just write type function, then pass the variable into that function, and the type is float. Other type of variable is string. If we want to store a sequence of characters, then this type of variable is called string. So let's say we want to store this is dummy string, and if we check the type of this variable, so we will see the output will be str. So str means in Python string. In Python we represent string as str. Now let's understand how to do commenting in Python. So when we write a very big program, so it's necessary to write comments over the code, because if we are writing big program, so if we come to that program after a few days, maybe 10, 15 or month or a year, so we generally don't remember what was the purpose of that statement. So to remember or to क्या लिखे यार? दोबारा से लिखना पड़ेगा. Let's understand how to write comments in Python. To write comment in Python, we generally use this hash symbol, and we can write any comment, like this is comment. So generally comments are ignored by the Python. They did not get executed, because whatever the strings we are going to write after this hash symbol, those characters or strings will be ignored by the Python compiler or interpreter. As you can see, there is no output of this statement because it has no effect on the code. So let's say we are writing a big code and we just want to put a sample comment over there, and we want to tell the user or developer that this segment of code belongs to this logic. So we can write that sample comment over that code, and this will help the developer to remember the purpose of this code, so that he can come after 15-30 days or a month or a year later, and he can know that, yeah, this I write this code because of this purpose. So this is the single line comment. For multi-line comment, we use triple quote symbol, and let's say we want to write multiple lines in it. This is a sample comment line 1. This is sample comment line 2. So that's how we write multiple line comments, and same way it will have no effect on the code. It is being stored as a string, and but it will not have any impact on the code. Now let's say we want to write a program to check two numbers, and we want to find now now we want to find a greater number. Now okay, let's understand if and else statements in Python. Let's understand if and else statement in Python. So we will understand this concept by an example. Let's say we have two variables and we want to check that which is the greater one, right? So we have variable a and we have second variable b. We don't know what value that a and b will hold, and we just want to write a program without knowing that the value of a and b. So the logic can be can be an else statement in Python. To understand this concept, we will use an example. So let's say we have two variables a and b, and we don't know that what value these two a and b variable will hold, but it will be integers or the floats, right? So before knowing the values of a and b, we need to write a logic to determine which is the greater one, right? So to perform that action, we will write if and else statements. So what we will do, we have operators in Python. So let's assign some values to these variables over here. We can change it later on also. We can define any values to those variables. So let's understand a simple operator in Python first. So we have greater than operator and less than operator in Python. So if we want to check which variable is greater than the other one, so we can just write a greater than b. So it is to check whether a is greater than b or not. So if a is greater than b, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So in our case, a is less than b, so it is returning false. If we check for the less than operator, like whether a is less than the b, so this is a true statement and it will return true. Okay, so this simply returns in boolean. So boolean is also a Python variable type. uh, we can check it by defining. Let's understand boolean type of variable by different examples. So let's see, we have a variable c and boolean value is assigned to it. We can check the type of variable by type function. We can pass the variable under this type function and we can see the output is bool. So bool represents boolean type of variables in Python. This greater than and is less than operator also return a boolean result. If we change the value of these variables, if we define a is equal to 6 and b is equal to let's say 3, now in this case a is greater than b, so this statement will return true. Let's execute this line first, and a less than b will return false, right? So that's how we can check greater and lesser values. So now let's say if we want to print the variable which is greater. So to write that program, what we will use if and else conditions. So syntax for this if and else condition is if, then we will write some condition. So I don't want to execute this. It is just to show you the syntax of the if and else condition. So that's why I'm writing multiple line comments. If, then condition, then we use colons. Colons is a way to define that end of statement, and there will be certain actions we want to perform in if condition. So uh, after the colon we can give the 4 or 8 spaces. So that is called indentation in Python, and we can write the statement that will execute under the if statement. So in our case, if condition is true, then we will print or perform some action 1. Otherwise, if condition is false, then this else condition will be executed and we will perform action 2. So let's understand this by greater and lesser variable example. So in our case, we are checking that if a is greater than b, this means a is greater, right? So we will write the colon and we want to just print the statement a is greater, because this print statement will be executed only if a is greater than b, right? Other condition will be if a is greater than b, then print statement a is greater will be executed. If a is less than b, then else condition will be executed, because there are two cases whether a will be greater or the lesser. If condition is true, if and condition is true, then print statement will be executed. If condition is false, then it will come to the else statement and we will print b is greater. Now we are assuming that a and b cannot be equal. That we will cover later on. So now let's run this program and we can see a is greater. Let's define the variables above this program as well. Now we will change the values and see the output how it varies. So now in this case b is greater. If we define a is equal to 6 and b is equal to 4, now a is greater. So that's how we can write if and else condition. Let's take in another example and we want to write a program to check whether a number is even or odd. So let's understand uh, a few operators first, then we will write program for this. So in Python we have a operator called percentile. So what it does, it's outputs the reminder. So let's take an example. uh, if we divide 4 by 3, then the remainder will be 1, right? If we divide 7 by 5, then remainder will be 2, right? If we want to check the quotient, that is एक quotient होता है if we want to check the if we want to check the quotient, then we can do it by division operator, double division operator. So you can see the quotient is 1, remainder is 2. If we want to check the exact output, then we can use single slash or division operator to check the output. Now it is 1.4, which is a float value. Now we have comparison operator also. So we have seen greater than, less than also. So to check equal operator, we use double equal signs. So let's say 5 double equal to 6. Now we want to compare that 5 is equal to 6 or not. So you can notice that we are using double equal to operator over here, because single equal to operator is used to assign the value, right? If we want to assign any value to variable a or b, so we will use a single equal operator. And if we want to compare between two values or many values, so we will use double equal operator. To check equal values, we use double equal to operator. So in our case 5 is not equal to 6, so it will return false. If we check 5 double equal to 5, then it will return true. In same case we can do with the variable also. Let's say if we want to check the uh, value of variables, so or we can simply check it by print statement as well. So a comma b will return the output, and now we know that a value is 6 and b value is 4. Second way is doing of it is by just looking at the output cell. Simple, just put the variable name and we can see the output in the below of this cell. So a is 6 and b is 4, and if we check a double equal to b, so obviously a and b is not equal to, so it will return false. If we check a double equal to a, then it will return true. If we check a not equal to b, which is true because a is not equal to b, right? So that's how we write comparisons, and these comparisons we can write in front of the if statement. In our previous example we check that if a is greater than b, right? So in same fashion we can also write if we want to check that if a double equal to b, or if a is not equal to b, so we can write these uh, comparisons as well. So let's come to that our second question, that we want to check that a number is even or odd. So let's define a variable n and let's assign some value to it. Now we know that 8 is even number, but we will write a program for that. So how we decide that a number is even or odd? To decide that, we divide this number by 2 and we check the remainder. If remainder is 0, then number is even, else it is odd, right? So it's simple as that. So we will check whether number can be divided by 2 or not. If number is divisible by 2, then it is even number, else it is odd number. So how we will write this statement? So we will just do the comparison. If a is divided, if we divide a, so for division operator, now we want to check the remainder, right? So to check the remainder, what operator we use percentile operator. If we divide, sorry, I put wrong variable over here. So we are checking n, so n percentile 2. Let's come to our previous question, that we want to write a program to check whether it is even or odd. So let's define a variable n and let's assign some value to it. Let's say it is 8. Now we want to write a program to check whether n is even or odd. To do that, to check whether a number is even or odd, what logic we follow? We follow if number, any number that is divisible by 2 is even number, else it is odd, right? So we will write a program for that, and we will write a comparison. If n is divisible by 2, so how we will check in Python that n is divisible by 2? If we divide a number n by 2 and remainder is 0, that means this number is divisible, right? In mathematics we do things like that. So we will check how in Python we use percentile to check the remainder, and if we divide n by 2, and the output will be the remainder, and this is equal to 0. So if remainder, if we divide n by 2 and the remainder is equal to 0, then number is, we can print that number is even. Opposite to this condition, if n, we divide n by 2 and the remainder is not equal to 0, that means this condition will execute print number is even. This condition will be executed only and only if this condition is true, when we divide a number by 2 and the remainder is 0, right? So in other condition we will print number is odd. In our case, number is 8, and that's why the output is number is even. If we print, if we assign 9 to this number and check the output, then it is odd, which is true. So that's how we write if and else conditions in Python. So that was a basic demo of the Python. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will explain the things in detail in our further sessions. So thank you guys.